to talk a lot. So, what I want to also again re-emphasize is that regardless of what you're doing in whatever space and whatever entity you're representing, I believe that everything is relationship driven. And so even though you might not, come from the same community, you might see things differently or have different perspectives, in order to get good research done, in order to get good policy done, in order to get really anything done, there is a necessity to build relationships. And I think about this when I was providing leadership for the Environmental Justice Leadership Forum on Climate Change, and just the importance of knowing the internal relationships that exist within that community can be a challenge, as well as external relationships with that community, with other entities. And so I share here a couple of challenges that I've experienced, but knowing that, again, you're sometimes coming into a space or a place that has existing history. So some past hurts, folks with egos, folks that are constrained and overstressed. And so where, again, as John alluded to, there might be different priorities. There might be some history with organizations or institutions that have come in before and it's not amounted to anything. And so you have to be aware of all those different dimensions when you're thinking about, again, beginning to build trust or rebuild trust if it's been harmed, and, building partnership within community. So I want to spend a little bit of time about what's out there to really help with, again, building relationship, advancing an equity and justice agenda in your work. And I might go through this a little bit quickly, but my hope is that, we'll share these slides afterwards and you'll be able to Google some of the things that I mentioned. So first and foremost, I want to share, if you're not aware, the principles of environmental justice and the Hermes principles of democratic organizing. So I would say even if you have never worked with or in a community or work with a community organization, these principles, I think, are just a great foundation because they speak to the importance of nature and reverence and Mother Earth, but also how you actually interact with folks, letting communities speak for themselves and making sure it's inclusive. And so I think these are just foundational documents that I would just either print out and have on hand, but really read and figure out, like, how can I actually operationalize this in the work that I'm doing? And again, please Google them if this is the first time that you're seeing them. There's also many institutions that have principles and values of engagement. And I just chose this one because I'm picking on Michigan today. But again, U of M does a lot of research, and I really appreciated, again, them recognizing, because we do so much research, we need to guide how we work. So recognition, respect, and equitable partnership are just three of the things that they illuminate. But again, I would encourage you to either look within your institution or to others to see, are there like principles or values that guide how we work with external partners? And if not, maybe there's an opportunity there to create some. Now, what I will say is that CBPR or CBPAR, there's many iterations of this, but essentially it's community-based, community-driven research. And while a lot of your organizational work might not be community driven, I think that some of the elements of this type of research, again, could be super helpful. So when you think about, research that's grounded in the needs and concerns of communities, when you think about what participatory really means at all aspects of the process, and then again, to John's point, research for the sake of what? What are the actions or the transformation that's going to come out of this work? So again, while you might not be engaged in CBPAR definitionally, I think there's some helpful elements there that could be useful in your work.